morning, good evening, good night, everyone. It's Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things living agelessly, bridging generational gaps, family caregiving, my heart, and entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurship life. And you know how that goes. How that goes. Well, Phoenix is joining us ish. Oh well. How was your week? It was the week that was, wasn't it? An eclipse. Did it last longer to you than it did to me? I don't know. And everybody's talking about all the talk about the climates and the brain and how people behave. I think personally there was a way people changed in the way they behave to me. In my view, I feel like I've changed come in some way since Monday. Oy. Well, who knows? Be that as it may, as much of a joke as that sounds, there may be some truth. What were your experiences with the eclipse? Mind you, it didn't show any Caribbean, but the footage on television was spectacular. Spectacular. Once in a lifetime. It's just going to be amazing. So, what are we going to talk about today? Something that has also come up since the eclipse, and I've been having interviews on and discussions on, and that is climate change. I know. Oh, climate change again. She's going to talk about that. What she going to possibly have to say about climate change? This is not political discussion. Remember, this is a family chat. This is fireside family chat with everybody. For discussing the things that happen to us on the street, in real life, in our lives as caregivers, in our lives as being entrepreneurs. My observation in gerontology, dealing with older persons, helping and discussing how we can live agelessly. So we're not getting into the politics, no discussion, none of that. Be that as it may, though, have you been affected? You know, this year is definitely going to be one of the hotter years on record. Last year sure was, wasn't it? In all the melee of having to deal with older relatives last year, I think the heat, especially in the Caribbean, was just off the charts. So, how do you tell? We're going to do three things today. How do you tell, or maybe just two? How can you tell if heat is affecting your loved one and you, but definitely an older person? And two, what can you do to, how can you tell and what can you do to mitigate the effects of it? Why are older persons so much more at risk of having the effects of heat? The second one is all the dust, all the pollution that's around. How can you protect them from, and why are they at more risk from health diseases? And do you have health challenges that make your caregiving or your entrepreneurship life a challenge? So we just going to brainstorm in this a little bit. So heat exhaustion technically is where the body temperature goes up more than 40 degrees Celsius. And that's 104 Fahrenheit for those of you who do Fahrenheit. So wherever you may be and you do either, I hope that's helpful. How do you know that will help? How do you know that's the temperature of the person in the body? Have a thermometer. So that kind of goes into the how do we fix this? Or how do we make plans to preempt it? Why are older persons at risk? Well, because yes, in the discussion. Because older persons don't have a regulatory system to their body. They're just as you get older, your systems for saying, "Oh, I'm hot, drink this." "Oh, I'm cold, put up this." But definitely for heat, it is not the same. And as you get older, so what's going to happen is that you're not going to, older persons are not going to show signs of heat. And even if you feel thirsty, you may already be dehydrated and confused. How easy is that to figure out for a caregiver that they have to, who may be already seeing signs of confusion and signs of uh, not being clear on what's going on in an older person? One way is to test the temperature. So do your temperature check under the tongue. Your doctor will tell you other places as well. You can do a temperature scan. That may not always work. The other thing is with older persons, they don't always have regulatory temperature either. So not only the temperature they measure not be the right one, but it may actually be, and they may actually be high, get into a stroke, but they also can't tell you the signals. I'm feeling hot. I am hot. What about mobility and agility? Can't get around as much to switch from one room to another. Can you that easily? Fine. What about the cost of heat exhaustion to persons? Can everybody retrofit their entire home? No. So just those things, knowing that older persons are at higher risk, knowing that we ourselves are at higher risk of the heat, what can we do? But there may not be. Is there an easy fix? Well, no, we don't do fixes here either. So fan. How about a fan? We have fans in the Caribbean for sure, sure. An easier way, like on a really hot day, you can probably by the older person, especially if they're in bed, near the bed or by their chair, have on a lower level. You can Google this if you want, but have on a lower level ice trays and let the fan blow on the ice trays. Let the fan blow on the cold packets on them, on you, while you're sitting doing your family giving, or even at the end of a hot day to cool you down. Is the is the cheapest ACR um, alternative that I can think of. So that's one thing, or two. And the second one is, what about respiratory? What about illnesses of the lungs? Well, why are older persons at risk? Because again, while we can do, excuse me, while we can do that to clear our chest, older person cannot do it because they can't clear their lungs as before. And and that goes across the board as you get from 70s, 80s, 90s. So let's say that the person you're taking care of is in that age bracket. We're urging you to be as healthy as you can be for sure. But your lungs are also 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s years old. And your clearance might not be what it can be. So how can you tell someone's having pneumonia and they're an older person and they may not be coughing? Good one. Do you have an oxygen monitor? Well, I know since pandemic, everybody, COVID-19, most everyone I know has some little device in their room, in their house, which measures oxygen level. Now, again, in older persons, it may not be straightforward, but you have something you can use. So if they seem confused, if they seem to be not eating, especially, not wanting to drink, again, before so that you can give your family doctor the best ideas on what they can best on so that they can give you the best advice ever. You can let them know, well, she's not mom or dad not eating, not drinking. I tried this, their oxygen is this level, but you know what? She's also a little bit more confused than usual. And they might be able to say, that sounds like there's and even if there's no cough, that might sound as though he or she might have a lung infection that's coming, or they might be dehydrated, or both. Because sometimes it's so insidious. You're like, where did this happen? When did this happen? What to do? I'll take a deep breath here and calm. So, when you're dealing with older persons, you're alert, awake, living agelessly. Remember, your body is still however old you are. Know the signs for yourself. Let's know the signs for ourselves. Know the signs so that we can be in a family group. Maybe put the signs on your fridge so that everyone's aware. In terms of heat and the risk of fires, have a fire drill. Do you have one? And even if you don't have a drill, do you know where your fire exits are, the safe ones? We've spoken of this before, but it's always good to in the topic of heat and heat exhaustion. So I think if there are any queries, just let me know. If you have any other questions, join me on lanaslothings.com. Email me, lana at lanaannmd.com, and we can talk some more. If you're overwhelmed with the journey, we got things. And you have questions, we got things. Like and subscribe. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Beat the heat. Know the signs. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. What first? Oxygen mask. And things will make their way. From my heart to yours, good morning, good evening, good night. Dr. Lana is signing out. Until next week. Mwah.